shake hands, really meet the candidates and ask them the questions directly.
That would be awesome. That'd be great. I really appreciate that. Yes, would love to.
Well, it's an invite, Rod. I'm kind of hoping that you're going to come to these events that we have, and have an opportunity to interview the candidates yourself.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure they want me to interview them, but because I would probably ask them really tough questions that they don't want to have to answer right now. But I would still do that. And you know what?
Well,
we could probably
listen, Rod. Other than Hillary Clinton, who's avoiding the hard questions, listen, I got a feeling most of the candidates are going to be willing to stand up and address the questions that you're willing to fire at them.
Are you saying Hillary won't be there?
You know what? I have nothing to do with Hillary Rodham Clinton's schedule, and probably knowing the posts that I've posted, trying to, ask some strong questions myself, I cannot guarantee Hillary Rodham Clinton's appearance whatsoever.
Oh, that's too bad. I would love to actually be able to sit down with that, or just stand up with that woman, because she'd probably be wanting to run away when she here's me talking to her. I ain't no ways tired.
Well, she's already banned Fox News, so we'll have to see how if that ends up hurting her down the campaign trail, or if it ends up helping her. I really doubt it's gonna help her in any way, but
I can see it now. Yes, I want to ban that Fox News, and I want to ban that Confederate flag, and I want to ban that Rod Eccles.
Well, you know what? Listen. You bring up a great point. I mean, their campaign pin, the Clinton-Gore, the '92 campaign pin that recently came out. I never knew that they had a campaign pin designed with the Confederate flag as one of their campaign slogans.
They have all kinds of Confederate types of. Well, let's face it. Billy Boy is. He's a good old boy from down south. Arkansas. You don't get to be Arkansas governor by. As many times as he was reelected, as many times as he was down there by dissing the Confederate battle flag. They fully embrace it, which is kind of hypocritical of them now, in my book. And you know what? I don't think a lot of blacks, a lot of African Americans are buying it this time from her.
I hope not, Rod. I hope not.
There's just too much evidence of them using it before and being proud of it. It is just way too much.
Like you said, I mean, it was a historical flag during the Civil War. It represented the Confederate Army. It represented, a lot of the anti-abolishment movement of the South at the time. What's scary is the fact that a lot of American history, as much as many people feel that they know their history, they tend to misuse it or misrepresent it when it benefits them in a political forum. But I feel, listen, if anything, it's definitely the voters of the South need to address it. And I mean, every single registered American voter down there. Anything, I feel it's rather offensive as well. Although from a historical point of view, if anything, it should be taken down from the Capitol buildings or whatever and put into a, historical museum represented in a Civil War learning, environment.
It should not be. It should not be flying above state capitals. You're absolutely. It shouldn't be in government. Look, this is a flag that represents a defeated rebellion, a defeated country, if you will. I've never seen any government fly the flag of a defeated and vanquished foe before. So it needs to go from that. But as far as banning it, so everybody, why don't you, if you're going to do that, if you're going to ban the rebel flag, then I think it's time that you also start banning the swastika and the Nazi flag. You start banning the old Soviet Union flag, the CCCP. You ban the Chavez all the Chavez products with his picture, nothing but communism, basically, is all he's all about. Why are we targeting just this particular flag? Well, it has some political expediency because of good old Rahm Emanuel. Never let a good tragedy go to waste, basically. And I'm even though I know what the flag stands for, that flag stands for, and what it means, I also know what's behind them. And today, one of the things that Rush said a couple of days ago about them going after the rebel flag, that this is just the beginning, that they would be going after the U.S. flag next. And today, there it is. Louis Farrakhan is out there saying we got to bring down the United States flag because it's a flag of oppression as well. And look, this is not about the Confederate flag. This is not about the Confederate States. This is not about the Civil War. This is not about this kid walking into a black church and shooting dead 9 people. This is all about liberals advancing their mantra on how bad this country is.
Well, Rod, that is an outstanding point. And as much as they love to beat up on this country, it is a young 239-year-old democracy. Many of the, like you said, the swastika, whether it's the Soviet Union flag and sickle of communism. I mean, Vladimir Putin himself seems like he's trying to go back to a Soviet Union 2.0, being a former KGB agent who, was right in the heart and soul of perestroika, Boris Yeltsin, Gorbachev. A lot of people, they tend to forget these historical events. They tend to forget the people who helped the Soviet people at the time. It was several $billions of, American taxpayer money to keep that country afloat for a while they worked things out. I mean, as bad as everybody loves to try to trash America, at least the one thing that we do learn from is history. And I'm not saying we're perfect. We're still an evolving democracy. But the American flag, the moment that flag comes down and, they start trying to trash that and remove that from any piece of American soil, the folks that are trying to remove it, I want them to give back all the American currency that they have stashed away in their banks and their retirement funds as well. So.
Yeah, I'm sure Louis Farrakhan is being paid with U.S. dollars and not, rubles or something. But
yeah, I don't think he's definitely not accepting rubles these days. That's for sure.
But you bring up a good point. I think it's quite amazing. They say how much they hate America, but they obviously bask in all that it has to offer. I don't see them volunteering to go anywhere else. Not even to Canada. Hey, if you don't like the U.S., you don't got to go far. Just go to Mexico or Canada. Oh, I'm sorry, you don't want to go to Mexico because you might get killed down there. But Canada's safe. They'd probably welcome you. They've been trying to boost their population because they're on a negative population slide with 33 million and going south. Canada wants to boost their population, so go up there. If you don't like the United States, there's lots of room.
I agree. I agree. I agree, Rod. A lot of people take for granted what the freedoms and the protections and what was paid for in blood by many of their own ancestors for that American flag to fly on the freest country of the planet. As many people as they try to trash this country, they were lucky to be born, raised, had that opportunity to express themselves freely, openly. I wish they would probably think a little bit before they speak, but a lot of the folks that do that really do not know their history, really do not know they're living off of the past hates, the past abides in one way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
a lot of times, too, it definitely identifies the insecurity that they're still trying to address to this day. But that's the way it works
we
sometimes.
Are by far not a perfect country. Our Constitution and our Declaration of Independence basically states, that we're trying to form a more perfect union, meaning that we're supposed to progress to a more perfect kind of governance in country, and we're not going in the right direction as we are right now. But yeah, our founding fathers knew that there is no such thing as a perfect nation or a perfect government because it's all created and run by man. There's going to be problems. We've made mistakes as a nation in our history, and a lot of those mistakes we've owned up to. A lot of those mistakes maybe we're not owning up to for one reason or another. But this whole notion about the human rights and slavery and all this kind of stuff, and we have this. We continue to have. I was talking to Dr. Alveda King. She happens to be the niece of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I asked her basically about Dr. King's vision, and his dream. I have a dream that we're going to be a colorless nation one day. I asked her if we're closer to his dream or farther from his dream, and she said we're close. We're very close. So the whole notion, it basically is that we have certain people out there on the left that want to continue and foist this idea that we're a racist nation because it serves their back pocket. It serves their wallet. It serves their ability to stay in power. Plain and simple.
I agree.
They're trying to divide us.
You're right.
Let's face it. You cannot tell me that we're not closer. We've got an African American. Well, not African American. Well, we've got a half black president.
Listen. That was a huge milestone for our country as a whole. I feel President Obama, although I don't agree with all of his policies or some of the directions that he's taking this country, and I definitely disagree with his foreign policy in the Middle East at this point. However, he is still my president. I will still, fight for the democracy that I was brought up believing into, that I fought for in the U.S. Naval Submarine Service as a U.S. Navy diver, even in the 3rd and 124th Iowa Battalion at Norris University. I'll always protect my president. However, I will also only support the policies that I feel are in the best interest of the American taxpayers, the American voters, and that protect our best interest. I mean, that's with every red, white, and blue. I want to be able to live the American dream like anybody else, and I want my children to live it, and I want them to have that same passion and opportunity for both my 2 sons and my daughter. I want her to have the same exact opportunities that everybody else gets to dream about and try to build their own piece of the American slice of pie, their own American dream, whether it's building a corporation or a company, whatever it is. I want them to be able to at least pursue those dreams and live in a free society that they're able to express themselves without being herded up, taken to some back portion of the woods, and disposed of because they're not agreed with politically.
I too want every day to be the 4th of July in this country. It's I can't help it. I love the United States of America. I do. I'll admit it. I'm not going to hide it. It is a grand country. I think, I might be a little biased, but I think it is the greatest country that has ever graced the face of this planet. And historically speaking, I don't think there's ever been anything created that has been better. Where so many people, it doesn't matter what your class is, what your social strata is. When you're in the United States, you have the opportunity to work as hard and as smart as you want to change your socioeconomic standing. You don't necessarily have that opportunity in too many other nations. Whatever class or socioeconomic class that you were born in is probably the class that you're going to die in. That doesn't have to be the case in the United States of America. You can make your own way. You can go from the bottom to the top, but you also can. That also means you can go from the top to the bottom. But it's your choice, and that's where government can't make that decision for you. I know we have people out there that think that they can because they say, everybody who makes it, that smart kid who went to college or learned computer programming and built something called Facebook. Well, he's the winner of life's lottery. He didn't build that. I don't know. I would like somebody to tell that to Mark Zuckerberg. Hey, Zucky, you didn't build that.
Well, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, there's several entrepreneurs that have come from dirt poverty who have built their dreams, who are multimillionaires, several multi-billionaires these days. And like you said, I would love to see someone in Beijing, China, rip down their flag and stomp all over it in front of their government and have the kind of freedoms and protections that, because I was off the coast of China when Tiananmen Square went down, serving on the USS Hawkbill, and we got to pull into Hong Kong less than a week or so after that event.
I'm sorry, I have to cut you off right there. I've got a hard break coming up. Get in touch.
All right, hey, Rod.